So when you first met Mo, I mean, was there any sort of indication that perhaps he could be the sort of athlete that he developed into? What stage in his, development did you actually sort of think, hang on a minute, he's probably got something here?
Athletically, quite early on, he had that sort of attitude that was different. He had this absolute desire and drive to win. It was something that he thrived on. He loved winning and didn't like losing. But also he was different in that he never seemed to dwell on those two things. So in the euphoria of the moment or the disappointment of the moment, you saw the passion and joy in his face or the disappointment on his face. But almost within a minute, it was all forgotten, and it was right, okay, what's next? Or, okay, that didn't go so well, but there's a reason for it, so we can move on. And I know if I did half the things that he'd done, if I did something well, people would bore people to death with it until they told me to shut up. But he never talked about it. He never talked about his successes. He never talked about his failures. He just got on, which was very different and unusual. Athletically, I always say, people say, how on earth did you spot Mo Farah? I said, well, put him in a race and he won it. We put him in another race and he won that. And we put him in another race and he won that by a minute. And that wasn't a difficult thing to spot. But I think what we don't realise is that there are so many barriers to success that are beyond the actual sporting side of their life that we need to dig deeper. And I got so much from cricket myself that when it wasn't explicitly taught, it was just something that naturally happened. But I think you make so much more of something when you make it explicit, and you don't leave those things to chance. I met a government minister a couple of years ago who came to observe a PE lesson, and he just let them run around and they'll get those things. They'll get those things. They'll get the confidence if they're allowed to run around and do it. They'll get those social skills if they're allowed to do it. And I was with another teacher, and he said to him, no, they won't unless we explicitly teach them. Rubbish. And you think, oh, God, this is the person that's the school's minister, and he doesn't get it. What hope have we got? Fortunately, we have a different regime now. But it is so important to have that sort of holistic development. And I think, Mo's development through the side of his running was the amount of time I was able to spend with him, and the amount of time that I was able to listen to him, because I think that's the other thing. We try to solve people's problems without knowing what their problems are, and that's really key. But what you said, Prash, about taking interest in a kid makes them feel special. If they feel special, that's that they're so much more motivated.